We're doing Shovel Knight.
Yep. It's time to talk about Shovel Knight.
Hopefully this is a unique review so for you guys, but here we go. I mean, I like Shovel Knight from what I saw.
I love this game.
Yeah. And you said the DLC just released for it.
I love this game. Yeah, so the reason we're covering this, he's right. I mean, this game came out back in 2014, but they've pretty much done all the content for it. So because things are slow right now, I saw it as an ample opportunity to talk about this game because I adore it. No, this really is this is one of those rare games where I play it and it reminds me why I love video games.
Yeah.
To its very core, because for those of you who've been living under a rock and don't know what this is, this was a game that was kickstarted by first-time developer Yacht Club Games, who was a group of employees from WayForward Games, the guys who do Shantae, they did DuckTales Remastered, they do a lot of good stuff. And this was their first game. They kickstarted it, made its money barely. It barely made its money. Well, actually, I can't remember if it barely did or if it did well, but it made its money. And
you mean pre-launch if it did well, or
Kickstarter?
Kickstarter. I don't think it did at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kickstarted as a Wii U 3DS exclusive because it is a throwback to NES games, and while Kickstarter and the indie shops are just freaking loaded with those type of games now.
Yeah.
After this is one of the rare ones that not only borrows from what made those NES game special, but manages to build upon it and make, the really own unique game.
Yeah.
So the story of this, really, it's a video game simple story. It's Shovel Knight who uses a shovel. He and his partner Shield Knight who uses a shield fight the land.
Which is a female, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good to mention that. Who fight the land and destroy all the enemies. But one day Shield Knight goes missing, and it really depresses Shovel Knight to the point where he decides not to be a hero anymore. So when the Order of No Quarter pop up and start terrorizing the land, led by the Enchantress. It causes Shovel Knight to go back into action against all of those foes and his archenemy, the Black Knight. No, that is not. Don't you even say anything.
What do you mean by Black Knight, Lehew?
He's black in the game.
Oh, he's
Don't
black?
blame me.
He's black in the game?
His coat is black!
My coat is black.
His coat's blue! But it really, it does get back to the old school. It is an old school NES style platformer. It's a 2-button platformer. So you jump with A, you attack with B, and you can use your shovel to pogo off enemies.
Now this game, the people who made it are targeting, the 80s and 90s kids who played the NES. That was their main audience that I feel like that they were getting at. Yeah. And as you were saying, it accomplished a lot and it improved on the simple aspects of NES games. Yeah.
It's a very complex platformer. If you really get down to it. If you were a platforming gamer, I have not been tested by a game this much since Rayman Origins.
I heard it's pretty difficult.
It gets very difficult again, but it's a perfect amount of difficulty. It's not like Bloodborne, where it constantly makes you want to kill yourself, because it's a type of platforming that you say to yourself, man, this is really hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
You don't sit there going, I can't do this, I can't do this. You sit there going, there's a way to do this. It's just, I need to focus. And there's power-ups you can find throughout the game. There's different armors you can get throughout the game. The power-ups are really fun. They all have very unique abilities. There's one, you can find dirt blocks all over the place, and there's one that lets you use dirt blocks to just traverse however you want based on how the dirt blocks are lined up.
Okay.
There's one that's essentially, a fireball shot, an axe. So it's all stuff that harks back to old school NES and Super NES stuff. But in terms of how they built the game world, it does work. It does suit the game world very well. Trying to think what else. I mean, the big thing that I really want to talk about how it elevates itself from the big thing is that the story for this is fantastic.
And depressing, too.
At points, yes. It's very it's very well aware of the type of story it's building, because at first it's kind of tongue in cheek with itself, because when you start saying it's like for chivalry, so it's very tongue in cheek with yourself at first. But as the game goes on and you really start getting into the characters more, you're right. It does take a depressing turn once everything starts revealing yourself. You're kind of sitting there like, no NES game had this much heart to it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole level where, Shovel Knight, he's reminiscing about how he and Shield Knight used to help each other. And as you're playing the level and he's reminiscing, you're realizing that, man, Shield Knight would be really helpful to have right now.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like her ghost is showing, like, what to do, and you realize you can't do it, so you're like, jeez! But with all those depressing moments and what reveals, the ending and the final boss really cement the story for how great it is. Because it's not only a final boss that is the right amount of challenging, it tests all your skills, but it also, in terms of the story and the character arcs, brings everything full circle. And it leads to a really great, simple ending. It's not an ending that's very complex, but you go, that's awesome, like Bioshock Infinite.
It's a depressing ending, actually.
Not really. It really is the type of ending that you look at it and it depends on your viewpoint of what you think happened. You're right, you can view it as, wow, that's depressing, or you can view it as, wow, that's really touching. And I think that's great. Like, this was a game that everyone looked at and said, oh, it's just going to be a game that harks back to NES, and that's what I'm talking about, where it means, like, it does go beyond that. It really does, and that's something, even the first time when I played it way back, like, that's something I noticed, like, wow. This game really, it came out in 2014, I was like, there's only one other game this year where, like, a story has really gotten to me as much as this did. And that was Wolfenstein. New Order.
Yeah.
So, like, it was really refreshing, especially that year when the stories for games were just so, it was really refreshing. I mean, the bosses in this game are so fun. There's one that's a direct ripoff of the Grim Reaper from Castlevania. Like, just straight. But it's kind of tongue-in-cheek funny about it. Because, like, he uses all the exact same attacks, he talks the same way, so I'm like, okay, I know what you guys are doing. So, yeah, I guess I'll talk about the DLC a bit. So the main DLC that they released is called Plague of Shadows, and it's where you play as the boss Plague Knight, who is... He's essentially this universe's version of the Black Knight from Monty Python. Like, full and through. Like, he's just a cocky SOB. And his DLC is actually really hard, because it's a fun hard. It's challenging because his attack method is very unique and very weird at first. Essentially what he does is he throws potions at an arced angle. So you have to aim your arc as you're fighting enemies. And you have to aim your arc to make sure that you jump correctly, because it's a whole different jumping mechanic too. So that means all the platforming has changed that you've gotten used to. So those, that muscle memory that you have with Shovel Knight, like, oh yeah, I did this, I can do this again. With him, you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
But it does make the game feel fresh again. It really does. And the ending for his DLC is hilarious.
Really?
Oh my god. You play it, like, knowing his character, like, this couldn't have ended really any other way. But I'm glad that it ended this way.
Yeah.
The other big thing to talk about is, Yacht Club Games was given permission by Nintendo to make a Shovel Knight amiibo. Yay! And Yacht Club really went out of their way to make sure that this amiibo had a lot packed into it. So with the amiibo, you open up extra challenge maps. You open up co-op, which makes the game a lot easier, but it is fun playing through it with two people. And that's for the Wii U version. The 3DS version, it allows you to open up the challenge maps, and it actually opens up, I think, like, 5 new weapons and 5 new armors.
Oh, wow. So,
because the amiibos, if you buy them regularly, they're $12.99. If you buy them at Best Buy with your Gamers Club, it's $8.50. For $8.50, that's a ton of content that they packed into that little thing that's just meant to be, like, a cool little thing for you to collect.
Yeah.
They also made it the first amiibo where, because I'm sure Yacht Club was thinking on the collector standpoint, you can scan it through the box, so you don't have to take it out of the box to use it.
Oh wow.
So they did a really amazing job with that amiibo. Looks great. A lot of content they put into it. It's a lot of content that I think it's the type of content that I think Nintendo should be doing with the amiibo, and I think they haven't really figured it out yet. So to me, I think it's awesome that an indie studio came forward, really took their time with it, and put a lot into it. But this game now, the other DLC that I'm going to talk about is that this game is now out on PS4, Xbox One, Vita, I think 360.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I can't remember if it's on PS. I know it's on PS3. I can't remember if it's on 360. But it is also available physically for all systems. Although I've heard the physical edition is hard to find.
Oh really?
Not online, but in stores.
Yeah.
So the PlayStation version, its main, haha DLC is that so on the world map you'll find, it kind of does like a world map like Super Mario Bros. 3 where it's the dots and then the worlds. On those dots sometimes are sub-bosses that you'll find throughout the world that if you beat them you get cash for.
Yeah.
Actually, one more thing that I should mention before I move on, because it kind of took it from Dark Souls. When you die, all your money gets separated into 3 bags to where you die, so you can go back and collect it, but if you die again before you get back there, that money disappears.
Yeah, they definitely pulled the Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all those games.
Yeah, I figured you appreciate that. But the PlayStation, one of the big things that is funny is that one of those sub-bosses is Kratos.
Really?
And all the dialogue in the game is done through text bubble. Yeah. So Shovel Knight's like, "Oh, how are you, Knight?" He's like, "Hades." Yeah. So you can fight him as a boss in the Xbox One version. I have not seen a video on it yet, but I really want to. You fight the Battletoads. I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
I feel like that version would be very hard because they would just start chucking those bikes in that infamous level at you. But I mean, this game, if you love platforming or if you love those old 8-bit style games, you owe it to yourself to pick this up. You really do. It's now on all consoles, digitally for PS4 and X1. I think it's $15. I know that's what it is on the Wii U and 3DS too. And it's at $15. That's totally worth it. It really is, because you get more than $15 worth of content in this game. Because it's a game that you can also go through multiple times, and it's worth it every time. All the DLC that they put on it is free. So the Plague of Nights DLC is included, no charge. I don't know if they're gonna add the co-op in and all the amiibo stuff to the other versions.
I think it's gonna be unique to the Wii U.
I would not be surprised, based on, Nintendo was the one that gave them the first home.
Yeah.
So we'll see, which is interesting, because I haven't seen Nintendo give an indie game an exclusive, actually, since then. I can't, there's a F-Zero type racing game that just came out that I'm going to be reviewing here soon. But otherwise, I mean, this game, I'm glad that all this DLC came out, that I got to talk about this, because it's a solid A game. 2 years ago, I think it was 4 in my top 10 in 2014, only behind Wolfenstein, I can't remember, and Smash Brothers. What was that third game? Far Cry 4.
Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as good as 3.
I liked it. I like going around the Himalayas and shooting shotguns off elephants.
You like all the weird ones.
Yeah, it's alright.
Not really.
So that is it. Another post-game zone, and this time for Shovel Knight. You can find our other reviews.
Well, what would you didn't give it a grade?
Yeah, I did. Hey.
Oh, you gave it an A?
Yeah, it's an A.
You didn't say it.
Yeah, I did. I will go back and show you again what I said.
You explained all the DLC, but you didn't give it a grade. I didn't hear you say a grade.
I said an A, and then I said I think it was only behind.
Oh, behind the 3. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, this game is a solid A. It really is, and I recommend it to anyone who plays games. Anybody.
So,
if you want to see our other reviews, Tanooki.com, and Tanooki on YouTube. It is under the post-game zone.
If you want to look at Twitter pages, because Alex is the one who manages that. So the Had a Gamer.
Yep.
At Twitter.
Yep.
If you want to see his updates, because he posts updates often, so.
Pretty much 4 or 5 times a week. If you're a fan of Hitman, don't go look at my Twitter yesterday.
If you want to see me, I don't really go on as much as him, but I'm at Sphincter too. So
I should not have let you take that name.
you can check us out on Twitter as well.
And you can check out the Tanooki on Facebook. You can find me on Tumblr too at the Had a Gamer. Tumblr is where I go to really get down to the nitty gritty of how I feel. Because Twitter and Facebook, I still have businesses looking at that. Tumblr, no businesses look at that. So I get to go uncensored there. So that's it. Have a good night, everyone.
Peace. I could do Bloodborne.